right, mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. UD was good, man. Let me know if you can hear me okay, and if you can see the screen. All right, awesome, awesome. All right, we got to get ready to get to it in the middle of the week. Everything's sweet. It's time to eat. Okay. Um, so just a few moments, guys, and we'll get to it. UD, help me test this audio real quick. So I'm gonna say something in a few seconds, and I need you to tell me if you heard me or not. All right. So here we go in 3 2 1. Okay. So I said something. Did you hear me? And if you heard me, let me know what you heard. Okay. So you only heard me when I came back and I said something. That's when you heard me. Okay. All right. Cool. 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 So we're good to go. Good to rock and roll. And you happen to be looking at anything this morning, UD, or not anything in particular? Yo, that's lit. That is lit, man. That's what I'm talking about. So, I'm assuming you know that on my watch list, Pound New Zealand was one that I was waiting on or I was watching for a while. And it had CPI last night. So most of the pound pairs tanked. And there you have it, right? So this was pound odd right here, right? And here is pound CAD with the drop, right? This is probably when CPI hit right around this time. Their CPI came out negative or, just bad. So uh, evidently, from a chart standpoint, it made the pound weak and it dropped against the CAD, dropped against the odd, dropped against the Swiss franc right about there, right? And here's GJ, right? It did the drop, right? But I'm still skeptical of GJ kind of sweeping this liquidity here. But then my baby, Pound New Zealand, I got in from the tippy top, seeing all of these wicks, right? Got underneath that previous resistance level, and I rode that thing on out, right? So I'm up 48 pips and counting on the road to hit this demand level uh, uh, to smash my TP. So um, this is just once again testimony, right? To being able to see it before it happens, taking action, and then watching it play out, right? This is where the confidence comes in. I can't tell everybody enough, right? You got to get in uh, to actually, waking up and, pulling up a chart and looking for trades, marking it up, seeing the before and after, doing it for a while, right? To where you can start to get a feel of things, right? And then it's over with, right? Again, it's the same. I look at it the same way as anything else in life, guys. It's nothing different, right? I don't care if you like play sports, right? You got to go to practice every day. You got to do the same drills, right? You got to take the same shots. You got to take the same snaps, right? You got to, do the same old same almost every time you go to practice. And the reason why is because those things are going to show up in the game, right? You're going to have to hold the ball because you're going to get when you're about to get tackled. You got to switch the ball to the other arm, and all these little things. They all simple, right? They sound so simple, but what makes someone better than the next is the repetition. It's the practice, right? So guys, get up in here and practice, right? You do it with your job too, right? You get a new job, you go to orientation, right? They teach you the ropes, and then every single day you show up, you filing that same report, right? You doing that same uh delivery or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all just a repetitive process that you got to get acclimated with, right? You guys figure out that process, and I promise you, this is gonna be stupid. You know what I mean? Yesterday I had my boy Nick in here. He made over a band, and he was like, "Man, it's just Tuesday, right?" Today, UD in the building, and he's like, "Man, I made over 1K on selling GU in Pound New Zealand, right? Who else wants to make a band? All right, raise your hand. Okay, you with the man? All right, let's make a plan. Okay, it's just what it is, guys. All right, but this morning, all right, I'm very excited about the Jays, except it just not grooving just yet. Okay, here it is, the JPY index that looks very, very bearish at the moment. All right, but I like how we respected this fair value gap. We pushed up with nice bullish candle. We got pretty much a cup kind of pattern right here, and then we still pushed up, kind of breaking above this level. So we just got this little bit of a demand area right here that we can tap into and rise from, right? But we also got liquidity with these equal lows right here, which is sitting right below demand. Hopefully you guys can see that. All right, so what I'm expecting is a bit of a push down a little deeper, potentially sweeping this low as well, right, to tap into this demand, because this is also a bit of liquidity sitting here, because again, it's below, I'm sorry, above this demand area, right? So we didn't really mitigate demand, right? We did come down and create the low, balancing out the fair value gap. But as we came up, we engineered more liquidity here, and clearly we got it here with an unmitigated demand area. So my feeling is, right, that we're going to go and just sweep it all, right? Sweep all of the liquidity, take care of this liquidity, take care of this one, and then finally mitigate, that move that shot us to the moon on JPY. So I'm feeling like this is a possibility, all right? And then we'll take it all the way up. So it'll look something just like this with how this plays out. The other possibility, all right, is simply that we sweep this liquidity only, and then we begin to rise and take off. Right now, again, just for hope's sake, or hopes, from a hope standpoint, I just hope we get right here, right? I hope we don't sweep liquidity, right, in any form or fashion. I just hope we kind of tap this demand and just start to take off, because here is liquidity, here is liquidity, okay, here is liquidity. You get what I'm saying? And then we got a huge fair value gap that, yeah, we did tap into it, but we didn't really get too deep into it. All right, and we definitely didn't mitigate that supply area. So it's kind of what I'm looking for it to happen, but the JPY is still in the mixy mode, guys, because when we look at this from a higher time frame, all right, let's go to the daily. Okay, and welcome everybody who's just joined. Again, you're going to learn today, all right, and you're going to earn today. So make sure you stay tuned, listen up, get your pen and pad out, ask your questions, and do not forget to like and subscribe, all right? I'll get you right. Okay, so again, just breaking this low, making this new low. So all of this was the pullback. We got a very decent pullback, with that wick to this fair value gap, right? Again, not all the way deep, but mitigating it enough, showing us that the bears showed up, and then from there we got an increase in the volume, right, of bearish pressure. So we just stopped that bearish pressure as we got to this fair value gap, right? So with that, again, just looking at this structure, and it doesn't look very bullish from right here. It just looks like a leg as a pullback. But on the lower time frame, like once we start going to the 4-hour and lower, right, it starts looking more structured of an uptrend. So you can see that, right? And then you see this as beginning to start to head back down. So it's very, very in the mix, because it should go down, right, just from the overall structure here, right? So this is your pullback, this is your run, this is your pullback. So all of this should be the run to go and break this low. But um you know this pullback may not really be over with, right? Because again, as it was rising, breaking above this high, it just engineered all of this liquidity on its way up. And so now that liquidity is just being captured, right? It's just being swept, right, to potentially go and make that rise. So again, that's what I'm expecting. And I would love for this to start moving sooner than later, because I have some JPY pairs that I'm really looking forward to taking advantage of, and I'll show you guys those in just a second. But here on the 1-hour time frame, you can see that we got some hurdles, right, to get over, right? We need to get above this high. Okay, if we can close above this high, I'm not worried anymore, right? I know that we're most likely just going to keep rising at that point, but because that will be a structural change, right? From run, pullback, run, pullback, right? So we should still like keep running like this, and this is what I'm getting at, like why it's so mixy at the moment. But if we have a run and a pullback, a run and a pullback that goes like this, then we're breaking structure, right? We're no longer making lower lows and lower highs, lower lows. We're making a new high, and then we'll make a higher low, and then continue with the higher high. So, just watching out for that and trying to, see if that will play out sooner than later. But for right now, we're getting some dropping on the JPY. So with that being said, let's go take a look at the J's, and you can see the plays that I'm trying to be a part of. Really quick on these indices, you guys can see, they still are hanging around at that supply area. They want to drop, right? NAS wants to drop. It's consolidating that supply. US 30 still looks more bullish than NAS and SPY. But with the dollar, right, the dollar did rise. And again, it looks like it can go and mitigate this fair value gap before it potentially drops, or it can really get higher and sweep this particular high with these equal highs, right? Again, dollar was bullish. Okay, so just kind of taking you guys back. All right, we had this major drop, and then all the structure changed as we started going up on here, and you guys can see it clearly on this daily time frame, right? It's run, pullback, run, pullback, run, pullback. So all of this can be the run to get all the way up to the supply level, right, before we potentially fall, right? There's a lot of potentials, but I'm just saying, like, when you can get to any time frame and you can read the structure, you can understand the potential, right? So again, just looking at it from the daily, we're in that run phase where we can again hit this fair value gap, sweep these equal highs, and potentially mitigate the supply area, right? That is a major move on the dollar. With that kind of move, it will absolutely send the indices from a correlation standpoint tanking. Okay, so guys, keep your eyes on the prize for those indices, because we may get the drop sooner than later, but it all depends on what the dollar is going to do. Okay, so give me a second, just want to clean up some things. yeah, I'll leave it as like that. So again, back to the J's. All right, so CAD JPY again, I sold it, right? But it's just not giving me that drop yet because, like I said, the JPY could still potentially fall. Okay, and if it does fall to go and get the liquidity that I talked about, then um, this could rise up, right? And maybe it gets to this supply area before it drops, like who knows? But, there was a fair value gap here, but it was taken care of. So not really worried about that too much, right? Okay. All right, Ghost, that's good. And yeah, I saw what you posted this morning, man. Good work. Appreciate you putting those in so you can see, the possibilities. You know what I mean? Like every time you do that, bro, like it's I'm bringing the manifestation to your realization. You understand what I'm saying? Like, uh, you know, we're together and we break down, how these things are going to be, and then lo and behold, you post they were exactly how we said. So, after a while, I know you're a believer, but I mean, after a while, it's just what really makes you a believer, right? You know what I'm saying? Is seeing the proof in the pudding, right? The before and the after, time and time again. So, again, good job doing that, right? Getting in the mix. And again, for anybody who's on, any other time zone than the East Coast, appreciate you guys getting up and rocking with me, right? That means a lot. So again, thank you for that. But um, yeah, man, don't stop, taking those trades to see, the possibility because after a while, you know what time it is. Okay, all right. So again, Nick, what's good, bro? Um, yeah, now just these J's is where my focus is mainly this morning. But the dollar could give us a little something. Again, I'm gonna touch on these J's a little bit more, but I want to check gold really quick because that just crossed my mind. All right, my team bought it last night, so this is one of those things. And guys, I don't know if y'all remember because I deleted this all, right? The markups, but I told you, we possibly need to break above this high, and look what we did. We broke above it. So as we got that pushed down into demand with that nice wick, right? We actually ended up getting a change of character as well. And then we just, all of this was a trend line, right? All of this was demand, and there was fair value gaps all within here. But we came and we mitigated all of it, guys. Remember the cycle: break, makes a high, retrace, and now it's at that key point of interest and it's rising. And I don't know if you guys remember also, right? At one point, I was saying, hey, if I want to, just place my stop loss like right here, right, to just try to catch it if it was going to, continue rising. It did just that. But I left it here because I knew that the way that it was coming up, right, was forming liquidity, and we had fair value gaps, like we had it way on the lower time frame, right? There they go, right? You see the fair value gap here, right? You see the demand area here, right? All of that was going to get got, and that's exactly what happened. So as we were last night, here it is, 8:30, 9 o'clock, right around here, we could have made, right, well, we were up because we did take the buy, right? So that's an 87-point move on gold. It's ridiculous. I feel like gold it's just something that's changed about now that it went over 3 bands, 4 bands. I don't like the movement is just crazier now. It just didn't seem like it, like a dollar move was so close before, but now it seems like every time I see a tick in gold, it's like a dollar move already. So it's wild. But gold is pan. I mean, this is on the 5 minute, and this is tiny structure, but it's with big moves. So a lot of people are getting slapped around, with gold because it's very volatile, with the circumstances, right? But it's also a benefit to that. You know what I mean? Being able to scalp it, right? You can really run it up, scalping it on gold. So we had the opportunity up and we had the opportunity down. Guess what? It's at the low now and it's rejecting. And we got changes of character and we got fair value, right? It's all just lining up once again, guys. So here, we got a gold opportunity. Well, we got a golden opportunity, all pun intended. all right here for a buy, right, when gold gets here. Now we look at this from a higher time frame first, and we're like, okay, damn, we got the double top, we broke the neckline, right? We made a lower high, we got bearish pressure, and now we're at demand. We could break it, of course we can, right? That's just that's the way it goes. But we all know gold has been, as much as you've been wanting to sell it, right? If you didn't catch it from any one of these highs, right, as much as you've been wanting to sell it, um, it's at a demand area, right? So those are the things to really keep into consideration, right? And it's already gone very low, right? It's giving you a significant drop in no time from Monday to Tuesday, right? So from Monday at whatever time that was till Tuesday, 7 p.m. yesterday, right? It went 367 points. That's bananas, guys. That is absolutely bananas, okay? And so now we're at that demand level. So why do we want to sell, okay? Why would we want to sell after a 300 some odd point move within a day to a demand level? Okay, again, that would definitely be selling low. It's not to say that it won't keep dropping and you can't make money. I'm just saying, like, guys, sometimes you got to keep the logic, sound, right? If the name of the game with trading is buying low and selling high, clearly, that seems to be a working formula. Okay, so we're low. What do we got to do? We got to look for that buying opportunity, and it looks like we're going to get it. So now, once again, even though I can see like we have this high, right? We broke above that, right? But that wasn't really a significant high. This is the significant high, right? Because all you got to do is look left, and you can see that wick right there, right? That one right there. That's what gave you a little tiny break of structure to the downside, and it did it with imbalance, and it has this as supply, right? So if you're scalping, you can take the sell from here, right? Trying to take it down to this demand level, and you're looking at potentially, $50 move, right? $51 on a micro, $500 on a mini, 5 bands on a standard. Ridiculous stuff, guys. All right. But to really want to buy it, right? We want to see, price push up and break above that high, because again, that is the significant high that broke this low, that went to make the new low, okay, and then eventually came up and got broken. So if it gets broken, it's not strong anymore. The bulls are in the building and they want to go ahead and do their thing. And again, all we do is look in the past to predict the future. What happened last time price was in this area? You talking about, I'm talking about 300 and some odd points from Monday to Tuesday. Well, what about this? 350 points in 4 days. All right. Same situation, guys, right? That we can take advantage of this morning or today or what have you, right? But it's just, once again, being patient and waiting for these kind of things to play out and show its hand. All right. So please don't get too itchy. All right. And, just start pressing buttons. Okay. Chill, put your hands down, right? And just wait. You know what I mean? Put a buy limit here, put a sell limit here, whichever way you want to rock with that, right? But again, I'm just letting you know if you got an alert above 40.93, all right? And again, just throw it in the chat. Alert on gold above 40.93. It's time, or it's confirmation to look, okay? Look for a buying op, all right, buying opportunity. And what I mean by that is that, like, right now, we're kind of expecting price to, come and fill this demand, but it may not do it right now. Typically, when it creates a fair value gap, it engineers liquidity just like it's doing right now, just going sideways. Then it'll push up, it'll break, but it engineered all of this liquidity that's still sitting behind this unbalanced fair value gap and this unmitigated demand. So guys, this is where you want to take that, well, you don't really want to take it, you want to wait, but you can take it if you want, right? Take that retracement. Once you get, like, if you get like a little high that forms like that V shape, then you can, try to sell it, and it'll probably retrace to fill to sweep this liquidity to balance out the fair value gap and to tap into demand, right? And once again, with a situation like that, you're getting in from about, right here, right, to that demand level. Again, another 50 points, right, to do that. And then right when it taps into this, guys, especially if it breaks this high, oh boy, just get ready for a roller coaster. All right, here is where you want your position and to be on the safe side because we got equal lows right here. I see you. Y'all can't fool me. All right, I done seen this play before, right? It's your liquidity sitting at those equal lows. So as much as I want to put my stop right here behind demand, I'm going to put it back here, right? So I'm going to risk that 50 pips, but maybe I can put it a little bit behind liquidity and just risk 31 pips, right? Maybe I don't have to put it behind liquidity at all. Maybe I can do it like this and just say, hey, y'all don't really want that liquidity. Y'all got enough money, right? Y'all engineered enough liquidity here. So after you broke and you swept that liquidity, y'all don't really care about this. You know what I'm saying? So now I can get away with 150 pip stop loss on gold, right? And then just getting back up to here, I'm already at a 1 to 3, right? Again, just this tiny little move, guys, on a standard lot can yield me 5 bands. But somebody got to understand, okay? But then we go to the higher time frame and we see what we can really get. Guys, this is ridiculous. Okay, they talking about wealth transfer, right? And whoop the whoop with crypto. And again, I understand, I see it, but boy, oh boy, is gold giving opportunities. Okay, if you know how to play it. All right, so guys, please hit that like and subscribe button for your boy. Okay, I'm gonna take this, right? I'm gonna put my order in now. All right, because I just don't want to miss it. Okay, but um, you guys play this how you see fit. Just know that we are at the low, right? Dollar is reaching a bit of a supply level, right? We just don't know if it's going to respect it or not. Okay, so even right here, like it's kind of respecting this area, but again, we don't know if it's going to get here or higher, right? So gold again may keep dropping, but you know, that's up to you how you want to do that, right? If you are going to sell gold, I just got one tip for you. Sell it from a high point, okay? Sell it from when you see it rose up, right? Maybe it's respecting some supply area and then you sell it, right? Don't sell it right now, even though it could go and, do a little drop. Don't sell it right here, right? It's in the middle of nowhere. Look at that, right on time as I'm talking about it, it starts dropping. But don't sell it right here. Just wait, guys. Just wait. All right, because again, this could all get swept and broken as we are still bearish on gold and the dollar's still kind of bullish, right? But I'm gonna take that chance, okay, on the buy limit. Come on, come on, come on, come on, man. Trading View, y'all got to get it together. I don't know what's been up lately. Like, the system has been lagging. All right, any day now. Let's try it again. Okay, I don't know. All right, but you guys get the idea. All right, so get to that 5 minute time frame. Try to find the structure that I'm showing you. It's going to be there, right? And just put your buy limit at 40.36. All right, gold buy limit 40.36. Okay, determine where you want to put your take profit. All right, I'm sorry, your stop loss. All right, put it here, right below demand. Put it below the liquidity. Oh, there it is. It finally showed up. And then put it below the actual demand level, from previous move up. All right. But I'm going tight. Again, I know I can lose it. I'm okay with it, right? I'm just cool like that, right? I'm not gonna let, L's affect me in the way that it affects most. I don't know if you guys have heard, when crypto had that little flash crash that, people were unaliving themselves. And I'm like, man, I mean, y'all must have had trillions on that, in that portfolio or what have you. But even with that, I mean, you knew what it took to get up to that, that amount. So how could you not see this as, just a golden opportunity? I get it, you lost your money, but you know, you just do what you got to do to kind of run it up again, and you'll be right back where you left off. But they was like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm just gonna end it now. And they took their life, and you know, I realize, that's extreme, right? And we all do, but it's real out here, right? Where people are really, taking their lives over, the emotional aspect of trading and investing, right? And I do my best to try to tell you guys how to deal with that, how to cope with that, right? Hopefully you guys are listening, but if you're not, I don't want you to be the one to go and join them, okay? So, yeah, it's just what it is, all right? But there's my order, okay? Come on, come on, man. I don't know, maybe it's just too much too much activity they can't really handle. I don't know. All right, I got you, go. So we'll take a look at NAS. Oh, you think it's something going on? Something? Because let me see. We dropping. Oh, for sure. All right, I'm already in the cell. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Look at that. Look at that, kitty cat. All right, come on, break out of that consolidation. Head on down. Let's take a look at the dollar. What you doing? What you doing? All right, dollar's dropping. And you see why I'm talking about like correlation doesn't always correlate. Okay, dollars dropping, so is NAS, right? Typically they do the opposite of one another. But ooh wee, TP smash. There it is. Again, guys, I lined this up yesterday. I told you guys I was taking my chances. 720 points on the way. We just broke out of consolidation. Well, we're breaking out of consolidation. Let's put it that way. Let's get to the lower time frame. All right, so that's the 15, that's the 5, and that's the 1. We got a candle break outside of that. So just understand, like right now, this is where FOMO kicks in. This is exactly where FOMO kicks in, ladies and gents. Right? This is FOMO, right? On front street. All right. So seeing that big push up, now all I'm doing is looking at where it initiated from, was this area. Okay. So there's my supply, right? It broke this low with imbalance. That makes it a very significant supply area. Okay. We touched on this. All right. So break of a low right there. Okay. So got a nice little break of structure right there. Price on NAS will eventually make some sort of V shape like this, guys. It will make a low point, a swing low. At that point, it may potentially start pulling back to get to this supply area. Guys, if it gets back to this supply area, this is where you want to have again where I already sold it from. Okay, I keep telling y'all to just go right back to your entry. You think you missed out, or you think you're missing out right now. Somebody saw that drop, they was like, oh shit, man, I was supposed to sell NAS, man, damn it, I missed it. Or damn it, I got to get into it right now, I got to sell it right now. No, you don't. You got to wait. You got to wait. I'm giving you the game. You got to wait. Okay, all right, man. All right, all right. I hear you, man. I don't want to wait, but I hear what you're saying. All right, cool. Cause it's gonna pay dividends. You're gonna be happy that you did it. Cause who knows how, you don't know how long this will take. Look, just how my boy put me on to this bad boy dropping. This happened in literally no time. Like this is a 1 minute chart, and in 1 minute on NAS, if you were scalping it, all right, you made $89 and 8 minutes, right? You made damn near $10 a minute. All right, call me now, okay? Guys, come on, man. This stuff is sick. It's sick. All right, but I'm telling you, do not sell here. Put your sell limit right up in the supply area. Okay, sell limit. All right. Once it gets up there, any day now, there it is, right? You can go with a very tight stop right above supply. You can get it above this little structure swing right here. You can even put it a little higher if you feel like it. right? But I guarantee you, just getting in from here, you'll feel better about selling it than you would selling it right here, because you sell it right here and then it begins to retrace on you. You thought you were missing out by, not selling, getting off of this move, but you actually are. So you get in and then you find out that you didn't miss out, because the trade, look, it's already doing exactly what I'm telling you. It's already going against you. Whoever sold, right, off the impulsiveness, right, the push, right, the break, the breakout, the FOMO, right, they're down. They're down. I'm still up because I sold it from the high. I didn't sell it from the low. That's how it go, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button for your boy. All right, Ghost. Appreciate that, man. We in there like swimwear, but your TP smash. And again, all we do is zone to zone, right? Again, if you were scalping, you took it from this particular high and you knew that this was the high that you needed to aim for. And bro, 1 minute over, that's probably a 50, 60 point move on NAS, right? Let's put it in perspective. Again, a micro lot, 50, $60. A mini lot, 500, $600. A standard lot, 500, 5 bands, 6 bands. Somebody made 5 bands in a minute. Somebody made 5 bands. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Let's get it, man. Let's go. Let's go. All right. This is what it is. All right. Come on now. Now again, I see a little demand area here. Whoop, 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 right? But it's not really quite demand because we did not break these highs. But what I'm afraid of, all right, is how these highs are all equal, all in the same spot before the drops. Okay, so kind of right there. So I'm feeling like we'll probably get a little something like this, and we could get this right before we get a major drop, right? But that's just my feelings. That's just me expecting some sort of sweep, right? But that may not happen. Okay, look, it was equal here, right? And it just tanked. You get what I'm saying? It didn't do a little whoop de whoop and then sweep it and then tank. It just tanked. So you never really know, how it's gonna go. You just got to take your chances. Okay. Um. Yeah. Uh. Good stuff, bro. So that means SPY. All right. Still hanging on. All right. And US 30. Yep. Still, it could drop, but still looks very bullish, unfortunately. All right. It's just what it is. All right. Let's take a look at those J's because we're getting up there. All right. Boom, bam. Come on, JPY. I see green. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Okay. Take me home. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Like I said, tapping into that demand, we could go to the promised land. Right. Hopefully it doesn't want to go, get too much more money, but they greedy, right? Those institutions, those hedge funds, all of them, they want the money. They want your money, right? It's crazy, but that's how it go. All right, so JPY looking decent, right, for the rise right now. So over to the J's, AJ, all right, holding on to that supply area, right? Very nice wick, all right, that is showing. So again, we can start to look at a position like that, but we need to see something. All right, I see a trend line. That's good. Okay. All right, so there's liquidity behind that. All right, do see a little bit of imbalance down here to the low, so that's cool. If we, that JPY starts rising, and we get this drop, we're looking at 238 pips to that particular swing low. But again, like I'm seeing liquidity here. All right, guys, so I'm gonna erase this for right now as supply. Like I see this in this format, right? That's really how I see that. So as we had this imbalance, and then eventually we broke the low, so it really was more imbalance here. So we got that, but then we swept this liquidity. So again, that's a potential for us to fall because liquidity has been swept, right? It's just supply hasn't been mitigated, right? So again, that can happen, and then there's more. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot still on the table with AJ, right? So I'm not feeling AJ, you know, too much, right? I do see the opportunity, but I'm a little on the fence with AJ. All right, so I'm not trying to, pull the trigger on AJ just yet. Like I would like to see a little something different that makes me feel better, right? But like if it was here and then, I started getting rejection, because then that'll make me feel like, okay, we swept all of this, right? All of that was swept, and then we mitigate it, right? So this is more of an area that I'm willing to sell from and feel good about, right? And knowing that I'll get even more of a reward off of it, right? Where I was getting 238 to that swing, but now we can tack on almost 300, right, for that swing with just a 31 pip stop loss. Insane. All right. So US 30 did something, says that we lost it. So I think maybe, because I don't know if I was in a sell, I think it was a sell that we were in, but let's just see. Um, I think this was a sell stop. Yeah, so it just activated that, and then Nas. Yep, see, look at that. See, everybody who had the FOMO, look at that. Somebody come look at that. Where you guys think we had it? Okay, just just where you think we had it. Okay, all right, man. Hold on, let me get it right. All right, guys, sell limit. All right, 25 100. All right, 25 100. Nas sell limit. All right, 25 100. All right, and again, play the stop loss how you want to play it. It could be very tight, right? It could be above this, it could be higher, right? Just your prerogative. But the rule, the cycle, the system on how that cycle works is that if this is where the selling pressure is, and clearly you can see that, then by the time we get back in this area, if there's no liquidity, right? If there's no visible liquidity to get got, right, then it's going to respect that uh, supply area, and then it's going to continue falling. Right, and we're getting there very closely. Make sure you guys get that order in, all right, so you won't miss out, right? But where is the liquidity vein? I don't really know. Well, it's behind every swing, right? Every swing. So now you got to pick your poison, right? I see a little fair value gap here, right? Get what I'm saying? Right up in this area right here, right? And then again, uh, liquidity behind this high and liquidity behind that high. Okay. So again, when you take the sell, you can put it right here, not giving a shit about liquidity, right? Because again, it's not like it's always going to get it, guys. You gotta remember that, right? It's just a rule of thumb. You feel me? Like it's generally speaking, it typically happens. We're talking 80-20. You know what I mean? But that 20% time when it doesn't happen, and you get away with murder, you're like, ooh. And you wonder how people get in with those really tight stops. Those, they be scalping like crazy. Like it just goes like almost a pip to like taking them out, but then goes thousands of pips the other way. This is how that is, right? Just straight up and down. Okay. But again, if you're feeling like you want to give it some wiggle room, get it behind the high. I mean, above the high, right? Get it above the high. And that's it. Let it play out for the rest of the day. Give it a day. Guys, anytime you got a really good setup, give it one day. Give it one full 24-hour time frame. Guys, we tapped into supply. All right. So again, 2100. See, did we get there? We sure did. Oh, not by a pip. We were off by a pip. All right, we got it 25099, not 2500, 25100. So, but look, can anybody see the possibility? Can anybody see the logic? Can anybody see the truth and the light and everything that I just broke down and explained? How did we get here and now we're falling? How did we not have fear, right? And we just had patience. We was just like, okay, man, damn, if I would have known that from before, probably would have saved myself a whole bunch of headache, heartache, and everything else in between. Because I promise you, this push up made somebody crash out. Somebody crashed out because they thought Nas was on the way down. They sold it, and this made them crash out. They put the house, the car, the kids' note, right? Everything on it. And then it went against them, right? And then to add insult to injury, it's gonna drop, right? Oh man, I can't make this stuff up, guys. I can't make it up. It is insane. but it is what it is. Okay, so there we have it, guys. Let me get back to these J's because I ain't trying to miss those plays. All right, CAD JPY. All right, in this consolidation, um, man, 240 pips if we get it to drop. Price is pretty efficient up in this. I mean, just a little something, little something, something. But overall, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. So I would like to see a sweep of the high and then coming down and sweeping the low and then a potential pullback. And then right there is where I'll get in and then I'll take it on down. That's what I would like to see. But you never know what you're going to get. All right. So life is like a box of chocolates. Okay. Or trading rather, like a box of chocolates. All right, CHF JPY, right? This is one of the big ones, okay? The reason why is because everything else was giving us about 200 pips to the downside. Now, again, I already sold it from yesterday, so I'm just trying to, take advantage of, early entry, if you will, okay? But 475 pips to the downside. Holla if you hear me. 475 pips to the downside, ladies and gents, right? You got opportunity here, right? Get it from the high, right? Catch it falling from the sky, right? And we got liquidity on the trend line. We got imbalance, here. We got imbalance here. Guys, I mean, it's just worth it, okay? Especially if we get that J to take off, which, we definitely could get in a little bit, right? Again, I'm watching out, I'm factoring in the potential sweep before the rise, but if it doesn't do it and we just rise, oh boy, right? You don't want to miss out. All right, CHF JPY is one of those. Right, I'll repeat, CHF JPY is one of those. All right, here's EJ. All right, and again, uh, just all of this imbalance, guys, that has never been filled. It's just really where the bearish bias is coming from. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we went bullish. We were breaking highs with JPY, but then we made the new high. And all of this that we're seeing was just the initiation of the retracement back to these key points of interest where price initially took off, right? It's just that what did it do? It played with your emotions. It played with you, right? Played with everybody, right? It tried to get you to forget that this imbalance was here, right? It tried to make you think, okay, since it's stopping at these lows, it's not getting any lower, that it's going to rise, start to go and rise because it broke highs and made new highs. So maybe this pullback that's just it. It's just over with here and it's going to go and rise. No, guys, you got to forget. I mean, you can't forget that anytime you're in the pullback phase, right? Typically, and especially if it's like, where you had massive bullish movement or bearish movement and that had imbalance, as you're doing the pullback, guys, it will try to get you to think that the pullback is over before it ever mitigates that fair value gap. This is what we call engineered liquidity, right? And in my team, we call it the gotcha bitch, right? But this is what you call engineering liquidity, trying to get as many buyers, all right? Every one of these lows somebody's bought from, right? Put they stop right here. Put they stop right here. Put look and then look. All these people who bought got your ass. And then what did they do? Slap you in the face and push it up. Oof, man, that hurt. All right, Nas. Looks like maybe it rose. What happened? What's going on? Oh, maybe I think it activated our order. Yeah, 21. So let me just see. Cause yeah. So we're still in the sell. Yeah, it activated that sell limit. Yep, got right up in there. Okay, and so far it's respecting, but it looks like it's gonna push through. Again, didn't break through yet, but I'm just letting you guys know, that's how it goes, right? You just gotta pick your poison, and don't worry about taking that. That was a very tiny loss. Um, if you lost it, all right, so maybe you lost it now, but that was just about, yeah, $14. You know what I mean, on a micro. So again, it wasn't a whole lot, and you may see like it may respect this high, it may respect this one, but ultimately, we got a selling opportunity still on on NAS because of that breakout uh, of consolidation. Well, you know, we broke out on that 1 minute time frame, but here on the higher time frame, it looks like what it looks like, right? A sweep, right? Just looks like rejection. Um, and yeah, we could rise, right? We could still rise because this equal highs here, so we gonna get that. But yeah, guys, I made my bet, so it is what it is, right? I took small positions. I didn't put nothing huge that was gonna get me all in my feelings. So all I do is wait for the next opportunity, and then I take it, right? So still mixy with everything. The market is open for the stock market. So we got that initial push down, right? And like I told you, like after 10:30, things will settle and you'll really see like kind of what's going to go on with the indices. All right, dollar's kind of doing a little bit of retracing, just a little bit, but it looks like it could still head up, so those indices could still head down. So don't fret, right? Just keep watching it and keep looking for your opportunity to hop on in it. All right. Um, but yeah, back to the Jays. So again, yeah, everybody bought, they got taken, then they pushed it up. So such a dirty game, right? And then again, more buyers bought right here, right? And now they're consolidating. Now they're going sideways, and they're gonna do this until they feel like they have enough, um, you know, sell side liquidity to take this short, right? And so man, I think the stop loss got hit on NAS. It sure did. All right, so it took us out, but let it do its thing. All right, we'll be back. Hold on. All right, let me clean this up a little bit. I want you guys to see. All right, that will be the low so far since 9:30, and then at some point we'll paint the high at 10:30, and then within that range you guys will start to see what NAS is really doing. All right, so this supply is broken, it's all good. Now here's our next level of supply. Okay, and looking a little left, we got one more level. All right, both of these are on the table. All right, to potentially get pushed into before dropping, guys. All right, so again, it told us that it wanted to go lower. Right now, it's just tapping into fair value, right? Supplies, right? Again, fair value and supply. So one of these is going to respect and go and continue dropping lower, right? Which one it is, who knows? So best bet, place a sell limit here, tight stop. A sell limit here, tight stop, right? Somebody's going to be like, okay, well, what if I lose that one? Well, you lose it. And then what if you lose this one? Then you lose it, right? But then what if this one plays out, right? Or what if you do lose this one and then this one plays out? Everything that you lost, especially coming from here, when you lost this for 14 pips or 14 points, you lost this probably for 14 points, but then this one is the one that it really tanks from. Now, just getting about to like maybe right here from that area, you just made back everything that you lost on these two trades, right? Y'all got to get out of that, you know, it's a forever loss mentality. It's not. right? It's a temporary L. Most of the time, it's a permanent lesson. All right. I got a song coming out. L's are for lessons, and they touch on that specifically, right? Mentality and just understanding, guys. Y'all got to get back up and get back in it, right? Stop putting yourself down and out, right? The main reason why, people are, unaliving themselves or really crashing out over a particular loss is because they did too much, right? And they say, man, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Stop putting so much on it. Stop. You don't need all that hot sauce, right? You really don't. Okay. Micro lots will get you far. All right, guys, stop swinging for the fences with, trying to get away with standard lots and then seeing everything get destroyed in a matter of seconds, right? The moment you switch that, I promise you, you're going to be okay. These L's won't even seem like nothing. They won't even seem like you're losing. It'll just be like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, took a dollar here, dollar there, $2, whatever. Like, it's just not really going to seem like nothing. But when you start really getting it from those high points or those low points and they start running, you'll be surprised how much those micros turn up on you, right? People can really, my boy Nate in the building, he's done it plenty of times, guys. 50 to 500, right? 500 to a band, all in a week. It can happen, man. It really can happen. Y'all better tap in. Forexwithbain.com. Hit that like and subscribe button, ladies and gents, right? But we're heading to the top of the hour. I want to see what the JPY is doing once again. All right. Still respecting. All right. I feel like this is just gonna, it's gonna play with us for a little bit. But guys, y'all just gotta get ready. All right, on the J's. Okay. EJ, CHF, JPY, the big one. All right. This is the big one, 475 pips. All right, EJ, I feel like we're gonna get like a little bit more of a push up, and then we're gonna get that push down. All right, GJ, right? It's already, forming, a little slight downtrend structure. But again, with GJ, I'm skeptical of the sweep. So if, I really want to do anything with it, I'll do something like this, right? I'll try to take a position to where it comes up, gets here, knowing that it swept everything. And then now I'll be looking for it to, do the dance. Okay. You see, NZD JPY again, it's giving a nice, you know, structure to it, but imbalance here that hasn't been filled. So again, like when the JPY drops to do its sweep, NZD JPY can rise to fill its imbalance and start to get up to the supply before it falls. So guys, we're almost there. We're almost there. It may be tonight, right? It may be tomorrow, but we're almost there, guys. So just kind of, set your alerts, set your orders wherever you see fit, and just get ready for a tremendous play on these J's. And don't forget dollar JPY. So let's look. Okay, again, I sold it. It's very tight. It could take me out. But boy, oh boy, if it does not, right? So supply really kind of right here. Again, FEG right below that. But we kind of took care of it. So we're just playing around in that area. All right. And man, oh man, if this goes, okay. So the ones that I'm really excited about is UJ and CHF JPY. UJ and CHF JPY. 429 on UJ. Okay, 429 pips on UJ. All right, CHF JPY 475. Guys, you can swing a band. All you need is about $300 to $400 with a leverage of 1 to 500 in your broker, and you can take out a standard lot. All right, on these pairs and run yourself up 4 or 5 bands. Okay, I'm just saying. Right, please understand that you're going to risk whatever that stop loss is, right? So this is 40 pips, that's $400 on a standard lot. All right, on that's that's the part everybody forget about, right? On the stop loss, this is again another 40 pips, that's $400 you're risking, right? If you take out a standard lot. So maybe you don't want to take out the standard lot, maybe you want to take out half a standard lot, right? Instead of $10 a pip, you're making $5 a pip. All right, and you're risking, instead of the $400, you're risking $200, right? You might have $400 or $500 in the account. Risking 200 of it might be worth it, right? Just one play, that can get you, about 2 bands or more, right? You run the 2 bands up, now you ain't got to worry about, losing $200. You understand what I'm saying? But again, guys, it's all on you, right? What you want to do, how you want to do it, right? I'm gonna open it up for questions, comments, concerns, anything, anybody. Talk to me. Anybody want to take a look at something that we might not have reviewed? Anybody got questions about any of it, right? How do you know? Where do you go? Best time? What lot size? Anything. All right, going once, going twice. All right, ladies and gents, we are out of here this morning. All right, keep your eye on the indices, keep your eyes on the J's, especially UJ, CHF, JPY. The pound pairs have already done what they needed to do, so we may see some reversals later on within the week where they start to rise. But for right now, they are continuing to fall, so be very, very careful buying them. Okay, gold. All right, and man, look, it got to that supply. Remember I told you guys not to sell it? Got to supply. Here's where you potentially want to sell it from to get down to this level, all right? Um, but I've already got my buy limit set, right? And you guys should have it too, 40.37. Just know the opportunity is there, all right? So don't look crazy, all right, when the rest of the day goes by and gold is, hitting a new all-time record, right? It gets the 5K an ounce. And you're like, wait a minute, what? I was just there. Hold on, wait a minute. No, 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 no. Rewind. Nope, nope, nope. Can't do it. Right? You got to take advantage while you can now, guys. Buy a limit in that area. Try to set your stop somewhere decent that you feel you're going to survive it and watch the magic play out. All right. But yeah, in the meantime, in between time, guys, I'm out. Y'all have a great morning. Same time tomorrow. Y'all rock with me. All right. Peace.